Hello, and welcome to the Delaware Blogger Podcast. I'm your host, Antoinette Blake, the DE Diva, aka the Delaware Blogger. And every week I come to you with podcasting pointers that will help you to share your mission and your vision just using your voice. A new episode of the Delaware Blogger Podcast publishes every Saturday at 10 a.m. And if you wish to sponsor a show, please send an email to info@ablakeenterprises.com. Again, a welcome to the Delaware Blogger Podcast. Listen in and share with a friend. We all know that the content of our podcast or our blog is crucial. But you can never have enough marketing. That's right, marketing is major. In today's episode of the Delaware Blogger Podcast, I'm going to be giving you 6 tips on marketing your podcast. And today's show is being sponsored by
Earth 2022, somewhere in downtown Wilmington, Delaware.
There's a force that is gaining momentum. The might and agility of stunning graphics.
The stamina and flexibility of great storytelling mixed with food, family, and fun exploding onto the scene.
At the 2nd annual Comic Artists and Creators of Delaware event, held at Artscape, 205 North Market Street, Wilmington, Delaware, 19801. August 5th from 12 to 9 p.m. and August 6th from 12 to 7 p.m.
Black comic history,
cosplay,
artist vending,
comic story sharing, and more are in store. It's your opportunity to celebrate art and community, so be there.
For more information, call 302-883-7371 or 302-377-7077 or email demetriusbullock@gmail.com. Save the date. We wouldn't solicit if you could afford to miss it.
All right. 6 tips for marketing your podcast. Let's begin with number 1. We know how vital it is to be found. So make sure that you submit to every podcast directory. Now, your hosting platform will probably provide this for you, but there are others that they may not, and you may not even thought about. So check it out. Check out the smaller, directories, even Amazon Audible, because the more places that your show can be heard, the better it is. You can obviously Google those well-known podcasts, but check out some of the smaller ones as well. And use the subject of your podcast for those directories. There's never an opportunity that can't go by that you cannot promote your podcast on a directory. Number 2, why not create a website for your podcast? Now, if you have a blog such as me, the Delaware Blogger, then you can create a tab to include all your embedded episodes. If not, you can create a domain on the WordPress platform, even Podpage. You want to make sure that you have an anchor, a foundation where all your podcasts can be heard, so that each and every time you release a new episode, it goes there and people can find your older episodes as well. And here's a tip for you. If you're talking about something that you might have mentioned in a previous podcast episode, make sure you let your listeners know that you mentioned it in a previous episode and invite them to go check it out. Use your affiliates, right? If you are promoting a product or a service, or you're using affiliate marketing, we talked about that in a previous episode, remember? The 3rd tip for marketing your podcast is always to optimize your listing. Yep. SEO, search engine optimization. Use those keywords in the topic, the title, and of course in your CTA or your call to action You'll want to include target keywords not only in the title or the name, but also within the description and the show notes that you're going to be repurposing to get even more exposure. So think about this. What are people looking for when they go for a Google search? Those are some of the words that you need to have within your podcast. Number 4. Hey, you know me. Social media platforms. Now, let me tell you something. There's going to be changes going on. You see what Facebook did with their not, promoting podcasts like they used to, but you're going to still want to use those free platforms, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, even TikTok and Pinterest. Build up your social media likes, build up your followings, because that way you're going to get more exposure, because not everyone is on Facebook, believe it or not. Not everyone's on Twitter or Instagram or even LinkedIn. So you want to make sure that you're using those platforms to full advantage. And I'm going to be talking about this even more next Saturday in the ATL for the Black Pod Festival. Use those platforms that not only you're using, but also where your listeners may be. You may not have to be as aggressive or, oversaturated in those sites that you don't use, but it may make sure you have at least some exposure. For me, it's Pinterest. I at least share my podcast when it drops. I don't do a lot of marketing, but it's out there. Number 5. Now, this is great. Interviews. Not guests, but you give interviews. That's right. Podcasting is gaining a lot of popularity. Recently, I was a guest for a interview with Omar Showtime Rasada here in Delaware, and he was promoting podcasters and radio personalities. And obviously he wanted to talk to me. No, let me stop saying. Yeah, he wanted to talk to me in addition to several other podcasters. And that's a great way to get yourself out there. So I actually did an interview on an HBCU podcast. So as long as you're giving interviews, you can share your link to your podcast, because that's what people want to know. So give those interviews. Take time, take that opportunity to talk about your podcast. And the final tip that I want to give you in today's 6 tips for marketing your podcast is responding and reaching out to fellow podcasters. The best, most, consistent, most obvious marketing tool that you should be doing is reaching out, tagging not only your fans and your followers, but other podcasters. Respond to them, share information, share material, tag them, let them know that you're listening to their show. They'll tell you, hey, thank you for listening, and they may listen to your show. Tweet about them, leave them a comment, a pleasant review. Make sure you do this on a regular basis. Carve out some time on your calendar to ensure that you are promoting not only your podcast, but others as well. If you support fellow podcasters, they'll support you, and you'll have a loyal listener base because their listeners are respecting them. So they'll check out your show, and your listeners respect you. So they'll check out their shows. So these are just 6 marketing tips to promote your podcast. The first one, submit to every podcast directory, and don't just do the big ones. Check out the smaller ones as well. There's new ones coming each and every day. Sign up for those newsletters and emails that has to do with podcast marketing, and check out those directories there as well. Number 2, create a website for your podcast. Have some place that houses and holds all of your episodes, whether it's your blog or, your WordPress or Wix, whatever the case may be. Make sure that people can find your podcast, in a directory. When they go, they can listen to episode 1 or episode 101. Number 3, Optimize your podcast listing. This is going to help when people are searching for podcasts, and people are definitely searching for more podcasts. So make sure you include those targeted keywords in your podcast name and your description, topic, title, and of course, that CTA. Number 4, social media. Use it. I know, it has its ups and its downs, but please promote, whether it's on Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, or Pinterest. These are all still free platforms that's going to help you stay connected, to help you build and grow your following. And you know what? Head over to sites like Quora or Reddit or Ask the Public and see if you can create podcasts to answer questions. Oh, no, not create podcasts to answer questions, but answer questions for anyone that may have, need more information about podcasts. And of course, in your bio, they can see that you are a podcaster and you have a podcast. So that's another way to get yourself out there. Give interviews. Local media personalities, they're out there. They want to know about you because popularity of podcasting is popping, and you want to make sure that you are being interviewed by those in your local, national, regional, international realm. So make sure you give out those interviews, and then you can drop the information about your podcast. And last but not least, number 6, respond and reach out to fellow podcasters. The best promotional tool is when you're having a conversation with other podcasters. Yes, you're having a conversation with your listeners, your followers, and your fans, but work with fellow podcasters. We all want you to succeed. We all want to succeed. So respond to them. Share information. If someone wants to know what kind of mic you use, or what kind of pop filter you use, or what kind of software you use, reach out, share that information, ask for information. We're all learning. We're all learning and growing, and things change on a regular. So, respond, tweet, retweet, leave them reviews. Just stay connected. Support your fellow podcasters because they'll support you. Again, this is the DE Diva, aka the Delaware Blogger, wishing you and yours a beautifully blessed day. And next Saturday, I will be in the ATL presenting at the Black Pod Festival. Enjoy this blessed day. Thank you all for listening to today's episode of the Delaware Blogger Podcast. And if you found anything that I've said of interest to you, please subscribe and share it with others. You may even want to leave a rating or review, and check out a few other episodes too. I invite you to subscribe to my blog, adelblogger.com, where you'll find more podcasting pointers and blogging tips and links to purchase a copy of the Basic Blogging Tips for Beginners or Podcasting Your Purpose resource guide on Amazon. I invite you to send an email to info@ablakeenterprises.com to schedule a 15-minute complimentary discovery call or to enroll in the 5-week podcasting coaching session. So until the next time, this is the DE Diva, aka the Delaware Blogger, wishing you and yours a beautifully blessed day. And remember, sharing is caring. So please share this episode of the Delaware Blogger Podcast with your friends, your family, your bae, and your boo too. See ya. It's the DE Diva, aka the Delaware Blogger.